The 12th of June, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay. Oh, we started yesterday the new section of Shichrurei Avodim about a star that frees a Canaanite slave. So let's start. Let's
Good morning, Phil.
get a running start from there. It's at the two dots, the last third of the page on Yud Tes Amud Aleph. Starts with Tuf Resh, Tana Rabbanan. The rabbis learned. Oh yes, they certainly did. Okay. Motza Shtar Shichror Bashuk. Everybody got the place?
No.
Yud Tes Amud Aleph. So the last third of the page down.
I see Tana Rabbanan Ezu He. Is that it?
No.
The different Tana Rabbanan. Okay. That's what I was afraid of.
Yud Tes.
You're on Yud Tes?
Yud Tes Aleph.
I am on Yud Tes Aleph. I'm near the bottom.
Yeah.
No, it's the last. It's not all the way on the bottom. It's yeah. I see where you are. You got to go up. You got to go up from there. About 12 lines.
Oh, I got it. Tana Rabbanan Matzah Shtar.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Who wants to start the reading today of the Gemora? Maybe Phil does because he didn't read anything yesterday.
Well, we're almost up to that zechut.
Right, you want to read? I read.
Where do you want to start?
Okay.
So where are we? I don't know where we are.
It's on 19A2. All the way on the bottom of the right-hand column. The Gemora cites.
19A2. I went too far.
No, we did that before. We did that already.
Yeah, we're starting there today. We did a few lines yesterday too.
19A2, the right-hand column. I've got here, but here in the case of a note of indebtedness that was found. That's not it, is it?
No, this is not a note of indebtedness.
So where am I then? If that's what I've got.
It's by the two dots. If you look in the
Ah, yes. Yudaracha, is that just before the two dots?
two dots, and it says Tuf Resh, Motza Shtar Shichror.
Oh, that, right, tough race. Tough race. I got.
Okay, you're definitely on 1983. I don't know why you said 1982. You're on 1983.
I see. So it should be up higher. All right, well, you start and I'll find it. I hope.
Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught in the Brisa, Matzah Shtar Shichrur Bashuk. One found a bill of emancipation in the street. Bizman Sheharav Modeh. In a time when the master admits Yachazir le'eved. Return it to the slave. Ein harav modeh. The master does not admit. Lo yachazir lo lezeh v'lo lezeh. Do not return it to this one or this one.
Right. Okay, so let's get the picture over here. Well, quickly, and then we'll go to the next. We'll go to the Gemora's issue. We have a star. That with that star, that's how the owner of a Canaanite slave frees him. He gives him a star, shichrur. That's the bill of emancipation, and now with that he becomes oist eved. He's no longer an eved. He's now a ben chorin. He's now a free man. So, if we find such a document in the shuk, so we don't know who it fell from. It fell from the eved, which means that he already received it from the Rav, from the Adon, and he really is free. Or maybe it fell from the Adon, and he never gave it at all. Maybe he had it written, but he decided not to give it at this point. Or, so in such a case, if the Adon admits that he gave the document, we're saying, oh, so he's admitting that he freed his slave. So we don't see any problem with returning the lost document to the Eved, because that's a proof that he is a free man. But if on the other hand the Rav does not admit, he doesn't admit that he gave him anything, so then we don't give it back to anybody. We don't give it back to the Eved because maybe the Rav never decided to give it. He just had it written, but he never gave it. So that would allow the Eved to be free of the Adon, and he's really not. It's his property still. Or if we gave it to the Adon when we don't really know, that could come out to be a disservice to the Eved, because maybe the truth of the matter is that it fell from the Eved and the Rav already gave it to him. So in such a case, we don't want to give it to either one if we don't know that he gave it. Okay, that's what we got so far. Okay, do we have any Rashi at this point?
Not yet. We're waiting for that part later where the zechut. The part. Yeah, we're not up to that yet, though. We kept looking.
Okay, I see. Okay, so now let's go. Let's continue in the Gemora. Roy, do you see where we are now?
We're on the top of 19A3 now. We just turned the page.
Oh, okay. So that is
having
concluded, is it? Having concluded its discussion?
No, you're not in the right place. I don't know where you are.
19A3. Maybe I haven't got the right.
Yeah, Maseches Bava Metzia?
Yes.
Okay.
19A3.
19A. Yeah. And which page in the art scroll is supposed to be on?
19A3 on the left.
19A3 I've got.
The very top
of the left side.
Top of the left or top of the right?
Left.
The left.
Oh, the Gemara qualifies its question?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Does it say Bisman Shaharav?
That's the third paragraph down. The Gemara raises a question.
I'm sorry about all this. The Gemara answers that we need not be concerned. No, I don't know. However, according to one who says that this is,
maybe.
if I say, however, according to the one who says that is a disadvantage to a slave, that he should leave his master's authority to go free. That's nowhere near it.
No.
Just
All right, I don't want to hold up. So I'm 19A3 on the
Go
right-hand column.
Left.
Left-hand column, I read that. Having concluded its discussion, that's a very, very top line, regarding the return of a lost bill of divorce.
okay. Start from there. That's the beginning of the story.
All right.
I'll just read 2 lines, and then you'll get to what we're up to.
All right. The Gemara proceeds to the next item of the Mishnah, and the Mishnah states, if one found bills of emancipation, etc. The Gemara cites a brisa that elaborates on this topic. Tana Rabbanan. That's where you want to start, is it? The rabbis taught in a brisa, matzah, shata, shecherus, bashuk. If one found a bill of emancipation in the marketplace, we should do the following. Bizaman, sheharav, modeh. When the master admits that he freed the slave, is what he should do. Yachazir, la eved. The finder should return the bill of emancipation to the slave. Ein harav, modeh. When the master does not admit that he freed the slave, lo yachazir, lo zeh, v'lo zeh. The finder should not return a bill of emancipation to either the master or the slave. So he keeps it. The finder keeps it. And the Gemara raises a question. Will I keep reading?
Yeah, that's where we are.
Baruch Hashem. Bizaman she'erav modeh Meha Yachazir le'eved. In any event, the Brisa teaches that in a case where when the master admits that he freed the slave, the finder should return the bill of emancipation to the slave. But why do we allow this? Nichul Shema Katev Listen Lo Binyason. Let us be concerned that perhaps the master wrote the bill of emancipation in Nisan, intending to give it to the slave then. Below Nisan lo ad Tishrei, but he did not actually give it to him until a later date in Tishrei. In the meantime, the slave who had not yet been freed went Bekona Nivasin Minisan Va'ad Tishrei, and purchased properties between Nisan and Tishrei. Since the slave was not yet free, these properties belonged to his master. V'hazil harav v'zaba neinahu. Accordingly, the master went and sold those properties because he was entitled to do. Umapek lay l'shich rur divorcev b'nisan. Now, if we return the bill of emancipation to the slave, he may one day produce his bill of emancipation written in Nisan, claim that he was freed then, and that the master had no right to sell the property that he purchased between Nisan and Tishrei. Bekar, Tirif, Likrochos, Shalo, Badin. And he will be able to take away the property unlawfully from those who purchase it from his master. You don't get that. Given this
Okay. So B'kitzer, we got the same sort of a scenario in the case of a shtar shikr that we had in the previous two cases. We've had two cases so far. We had a bill of divorce case that was found in the shuk. Then we had a shtar chov, a note of indebtedness that was found in the shuk. So, question is, are we going to give it back to the Eved just because the master admits that he did in fact eventually give this shtar shikra to the Eved? Because what's the problem? The Gemora presents the problem. There'll be the same sort of a problem that we had before. That armed with that get shikra, shtar shikra, the Eved will be able to tor from lekuchos shelo kedin. So, okay. And now the Gemara is going to say the same thing that we said before. We got, according to one Manda Omar, this doesn't present a problem. But according to the other Manda Omar, it does present a problem. And we go back to Lu until we get to the first Rashi of Schusu Le'eved. We didn't get there yet. Okay. But we will when Lu reads these words, the Gemara is going to then we'll have a Rashi fulfilled.
Hanicha leman de amer. This ruling that the bill of emancipation should be returned fits well, according to the one who says, "Zechus hu le'eved." It is advantageous to the slave. Sheyotze mitachas rabo lechairus, that he should leave his master's authority to go free. Abaye damar. If we also concur with Abaye, who said, Edav Bacha Sumav Zachin Lay, that when a document is to confer a benefit upon its recipient, its witnesses, by their signatures, acquired the benefit for him.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it fits well. Ella, but Leman de Amar, according to the one who says, Chov hu le'eved, it is disadvantageous to the slave. Sheyotze mitachas yad rabo lecherus, that he should leave his master's authority and go free. My ikad l'meimar, what is there to say?
Okay. So what we have to try to understand now, it's not so clear from the words of the Gemara itself. We have to understand why, according to the Mandomer that says that it's a schus, it's advantageous for an Eved to not be an Eved and to become a Ben Chorim. According to that Manda Omer, the Gemara says we have no issue We have no difficulty with the fact that we gave the get back to the Eved. In this case, when it was lost in the shuk, presumably because we're not going to run into the problem that we posed about him using the fact that he's got this star to be able to be Torah from Lekuchos Shelo Kedin. But according to the Mandomer that says that no, it's a chov for an Eved. It's a liability that an Eved is now becoming a Ben Chorin. According to that Manda Omar, who says that it's not advantageous for him to become a Ben Chorin. So then the Gemara says, Michael Memra, what is there to say? Meaning to say that we don't understand why it is that in the case where the Adon says, I admit that I gave him a star shikhr, that we're going to give it back to him, because we'll still have the problem of maybe he'll be able to be Torif from Lekuchos Shelo Kedin. According to that Mandomer. What we're trying to understand right now, hopefully Rashi will explain us what does this have to do with this. Okay. And without further ado, we go to Phil. He's been patiently waiting for a shear and a half to do some reading.
Yeah, and I don't know why there was no Rashis up to this point, It was hard enough to understand. Okay.
Right?
Right. So now let me find where it's been so long trying to find the place.
It's mamish right in the middle of the column.
The Chut Hu Le'Eved. That's what we're up to, right?
Schusu le'eved, yeah.
Yeah, this is a merit to the slave, the Eved, to the servant. Tovahi. It's good for him. Etzlo. Shemachirin. Matirin. A kahal. He's permitted. It's a matir. It's a kahal. It's a
right.
It's permitted in his kahal. The kaven since
to permit him to marry into the Jewish community.
The kahal. The kaven since
as an Eved Kanani, he was not allowed. Now he could marry a Jewess.
And kaven, and since the zchut who, and since it is a zchut for him, a good thing for him. Eicha l'terutze, how can you make this reason? The misha'ah, from the time shenichtav, that it was written, zocha b'shichra, he's able to be freed. The lachi mata, because there it said below. Now there is a bach on this. What does the bach do to this? Zechutu, the lachi miksha get, from the time of the get shichru, the shichra within. It's in his hand.
That's okay.
He has it in his hand to get shikra. Star get in his hand. Naaseh ben chorim. He's now made into a free Jew. Limafreya, retroactively. Meshad hachatima, from the time of its being signed.
Yeah, that's the Chiddush that the Gemora told us from Abaye. The Gemora told us from Abaye.
It's basically saying that even though he doesn't get it in Tishrei, it goes back to when it was originally written.
Yeah, why does it do that? Why does it go back retroactively? Such that he's considered to be already a Ben Chorin from the time that it was of the date that it's written in the document. Why should that be? So that's where Abaya comes in. And Rashi doesn't give us any help with understanding Abaye, but we'll try to understand what Abaye said from the words of the Gemora. The Gemora related that Abaye says, he said, he said in Yud Gimel, actually, you can look over there if we don't understand. He says, Eidov b'chasumav zochinle. Abaya said that in the case of the writing of a document that confers a schus on this Evid or any other person who is having a document written for him, even before it's given to him, but already from the time that the Eidim put their signature on the document to authenticate the document, that it's been witnessed by two valid witnesses, Zachenle, the Zachenle, they are Zocha for him. The witnesses that sign on the document of the Shtar Shichur, they are Zocha on behalf they are Zocha on behalf of the Evid. So if that's so, if we're going to say that it's a schus and we hold like Abaye, so then we're going to really say that even though the get was only given over into the hand of the Evid 6 months later, he's already considered to be a ben chorin because it was a schus for him to become a ben chorin, and therefore the witnesses they received that schus, they acquired that schus in order to be able to pass it on to him already at the time of the signing of it. And so therefore he really was a ben chorin at that time. Oh, so if he bought property at that time, well, that was property that he owns, that he acquires. Now, if he's still an Evid, if he goes ahead and buys property, even if he gives money, but he doesn't have, as an Evid Kanani, he doesn't have any money that he owns. His hand is like the hand of his master. So everything that he does is as an agent of the master. So that's going to be the nafkamina. If he's still an Evid, so who was the one that acquired these properties at that time? Was the master. So the master, if he's got the right to, he's got a right to sell it to this purchaser because he owned those properties, because his Evid was acting as an agent to acquire those properties for him. But if, on the other hand, the Evid was no longer an Evid, he was a ben chorin, he was a regular Jew, a full-fledged Jew like everybody else, because he already had acquired the schus of being a ben chorin based upon the signature of the signatories, according to Abaye. And if so when he went ahead and bought those properties, he was acquiring them for himself. So if so, he could take them away from the ones that bought it from his master, because he was the one who really owns them. And so therefore, there won't be any problem of what's he going to do. He might do something shalokadin to take it away from the purchasers. He's got a right to take it away from the purchasers because he's really the one who owns it. If we say that this document is a schus for him to receive. Okay. Now, what you're probably wondering is, why on earth would anybody think that it's a liability to receive such a document? Wouldn't everybody want to be a free man as opposed to a slave? How could there be a Manda Omer altogether who says that in order for the master to confer upon the Evid this status of now being a ben chorin, that's regarded in the halacha as a liability to him? Why is it a liability? Let's take a look at the next Rashi.
Maybe he can't support himself, or maybe he has nowhere to live.
Oh, okay. So he's losing certain things that he had before. Very good. Let's see how Rashi explains it.
This next Rashi is the chov. That's it. Chov hu la'eved. It's a debt to the eved.
Yes, it's a liability.
It's a liability. Chovato, his who. It's his. There is this liability.
It's to his detriment. It's disadvantageous for him to receive this shtichra.
Shiyotze mitachat rabbo, that he goes out from the help from being with his master. Kolomar, to say hefseidhu lo, it's a loss. Shalo eved, because he's now not an eved.
She'im eved.
There's no im. There's a thing with another ba. But still, I'm looking.
She'im eved shel Cohen. If
okay, so if he's an eved kahen, that's still, he's still considered an eved serving, who kohen who pasulo mean hatruma. If he's an eved,
right?
Okay, if he's an eved, and his master, so to speak, is a kohen who,
right?
He pasul truma. Then he couldn't eat the truma. If he was the eved of a kohen, he gets to eat the truma. But now that he's not an eved, he loses the truma benefit.
Right.
Im shel Yisrael, but if he's Yisrael, asura, he'd be forbidden b'shifcha to have a shifcha kananis.
Shifcha kananis.
Yeah, he can't have that case he couldn't have a shifcha kananis. Is that the zelo?
The zilole.
That's less the zelo for him to require for him.
No, zila means like cheap or lowly, like
cheap,
zol.
Yeah, zol. Yeah, zol. Cheap one way. The shchiach way.
Shkichale.
Shchicha. That's common for him. The pritza way.
Okay, so in other words, what's Rashi saying over here? Rashi's saying that this he's pointing out two things that the Eved loses when he becomes a free man. He loses the right to eat truma, because as the Eved of a Kohen, he's got a right to eat truma. But now he's no longer the Eved of a Kohen, and he's not allowed to eat truma. He's like an ordinary Yisrael. So that's considered to be a liability. But let's say, and then Rashi gives another liability. His liability is that he can no longer be together with a shifcha kananis. And if you'll say, what's the advantage of that? He has the ability to be with he now has the ability to marry a Bas Yisrael. Look at it that way. So Rashi says, no, this may have advantages for him if he's interested in these types of women who are zilale, shkichale, and pritzale. Basically, what that means is that she is more loose and more available and more cheap, and Rashi regards that as a loss, that he doesn't have that now. So these are the things that Rashi says make the fact that he's now a ben chorin a liability. So now, what's the nafkamina whether being a free man is a liability or not? If it's a liability, so then we can't say that the vort of Abaye. Abaye's vort that the Adim will acquire the schus for him, and that means that he already acquired the schus of being a Ben Chorin all the way back to the time of the signing of the document, that whole Torah only works if you say that it's a schus that's being conferred upon him by becoming a Ben Chorin. But if you say that it's a liability, and if you don't like Rashi's reasons, maybe there's other reasons that we could think of. But in any case, the Gemora says there's a man domer who says it's a liability, and if so then there's no acquisition before it comes into his hand. Only at the time that it comes into his hand, then he's acquired the right to be a Ben Chorin. And in that case, the Gemara says, Ma'ikal Meimor. What is there to say? Now we have a situation which is a possibility that we gave to the Eved to use this shtar and collect from Lekuchos, take away property from Lekuchos Shelo Kedin. Because he's going to say, look, you see, according to this star says, Nisan, and I acquired these properties. I have the documents in my hand to show that I acquired these properties, and I was already Ben Chorin at that time, and therefore it's my property, and I'm taking taking you that purchased the property from my master, my former master. I'm taking the property away from you. But he doesn't have a right to do that, because really, if it's a liability, he didn't acquire the liability of being a Ben Chorin until he had got the document in his hand. So when he bought those properties himself beforehand, after the document was signed, but before it was given to him, he was still an Eved. And everything, Mashikona Eved, Kona Rabo, everything that an Eved acquires is not acquired by the Eved, it's acquired by the master. And therefore the master acquired it, and he had the right to sell it to these purchasers, and the purchasers are the rightful owners. So the Eved would be doing Shelo Kedin if he would try to take the property away from them using this shtar that's written 6 months before. Okay. Oh, and we're out of time already.
Yep.
Okay. A good Shabbos to Phil.
Shabbos, take care, thanks, be well.
Good Shabbos, Phil. Good Shabbos.
Take care.
Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos. See you tomorrow, Rabbi.
Ezrat Hashem.
Okay, I hope to as well. See you. Bye for now.